All right, all right, all right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. Happy Alive Day. Hope that you all enjoyed your week and you will enjoy your Saturday or have enjoyed your Saturday. Hope you made it all through the night with no injuries. Um, and this is episode 18. It means 18 weeks you've been with us. That's good. That's a good thing. So let's get into what we always like to talk about. We're gonna open up with womeninlinux.org. We'll be changing this again too, so stay tuned. But right now we're still live. Don't forget, if you like to donate, you don't have to donate with your money, but you can donate with your time. Um, Help create more content or interviews or conduct interviews, as well as we keep building out. We got a couple of more show ideas that I'm tossing around, so be on the lookout for that. And also, just hey, you just like what you hear, just donate. Don't take you much time, just to hit the donate. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification button, share content, share with other people, share with your friends, and even invite your grandmothers, invite your granddaddies, everybody. Also, don't forget we have a shop as well too. Uh, Things for little kids, as well as mugs. You can hit all products, and you'll see what all the products that are out there. Face masks, so forth, so on. You have a list of things that you could buy, as well as you want to join the community. Meet us in Slack. If you hit connect, for me, it's going to spin up Slack. But if you haven't been to our Slack, then this is where you would hit. You would sign up with your email address, join the group, get some content, and also, which I haven't been doing this, but I'm gonna do it today. If you hit up meetup.com and go /women in Linux, this is how you can keep up with all our events as well. We also post them in Slack, but if you hit meetup.com, you see our Slack group, Tech Stocks and Jobs. You get these notifications. 10 minutes ago, you'll get that. You'll get Understanding Linux. We have our RAC CSA study group. We're getting ready to try to wrap that up, move into Ansible, move into RHCE, which is pretty much RACE, and then on into Kubernetes, OpenShift, CKA, more security. We're pushing more security. I don't know. If you're in Slack, did you see the post that I had this week where there's 500 million security jobs that are available right now? 500 million security jobs. And let me see if I can find that link for that those security jobs, so you all can have it inside of your, just for your knowledge. Why is that important? Well, it's important for a couple of reasons. One, when we're talking about DevSecOps and everything, uh, that's where that comes into. But this is part of our journey as well too, right? As being better engineers, software developers, SRE, however you want to chop that up. But that's the important piece, which brings me to our opening. All right. So on May 29th, we're going to have Dennis from sans.org join us live, where we're going to break down security jobs, and we're going to also break down security jobs, as well as jobs, well, DevSecOps, and what is it like to get not necessarily well, you can get a degree from sans.org, but what is it like to get your security certifications, wrapping that into software development. We're going to review jobs, so be prepared for that on the 29th. But I want you to also take the liberty and the time to go explore before the 29th. If you hit sans.org, and view some of the classes that they have. Again, they have a training roadmap. I'm not endorsing them by like, hey, yes, go everything SANS and spend all your money. What I'm simply saying is there's 500 million security jobs. There's DevSecOps, there's SRE, and there's Kubernetes, and then there's another one I'm bringing up today. Be prepared for that. You can pick a variety of fields to go into. You can take some classes. You can review the content for the classes and then try to learn on your own. It's just different ways. But again, I'm just putting the information out there so you're prepared. And so you have that information so you can also bring others along with you. And like we always do with Tech Stocks and Jobs at Women in Linux, anything that we do is make your money in tech, take your money, put it somewhere else so that money can grow. That's it. Simple. Hold on. Let's see. We got comments here. Yep. So, we're RW, we're putting that together for SANS. So be on the lookout for that. I actually start my class with SANS on June 7th. I got my package yesterday. I'm excited. I'm excited about my package. I'm excited. As you can see, got my books here ready to rock. So I'll be doing some reading. All right. So be expecting some more security stuff in our classes. All right. So which brings me to my next point. All right. So blockchain, HYPERLEDGER. Are you all ready? All right. So there is a HYPERLEDGER conference coming up, and this is from the Linux Foundation, right? And I'm gonna get deep, but not deep into this because we need a little bit more time. It's longer than our live, and it's probably have to be broken up into sections. And if you like it, you can email us after you hear this content. If you don't like it, still email us. We just want to know. And then also let us know if you want to hear more, right? We just want to know if you want to hear more. I find these things interesting. I'm bringing them to you. I've heard a lot of rumblings about it. So let's go through it here. All right. So it's from June 8th through the 10th. Why am I bringing up this conference? Well, if you've never gotten a chance to go check out HYPERLEDGER, here's your chance. So you went in to type HYPERLEDGER over here, .org. As you can see, I've been to it. The website comes up. So let's go look at the projects actually. All right, so under here, this is just the projects from the Linux Foundation: Kubernetes, Let's Encrypt, Call for Help. All right, that's okay. But under this, if we want to learn, there are case studies, white papers, training certifications, webinars, and they have their blockchain showcase and then research. But under this umbrella are HYPERLEDGER Celio, HYPERLEDGER Explorer, HYPERLEDGER Fabric, HYPERLEDGER Grid. There's also Sawtooth, Fabric, and there's Indie. But you can also take the time if you want to learn this particular, if you want to learn under this particular umbrella. And Dee can post this link as well too. So let's go HYPERLEDGER. And then let's look up Indie. This is one of the big things that was actually brought up to me a while ago, was to make a class on this. And I didn't have the time. So here's HYPERLEDGER Indie, right? Dealing with identity and so forth. So they have their SDK and so forth. And then you, again, come over here and learn. However, let's go. Why am I bringing this up? Well, of course, this is Tech Stocks and Jobs. So I have to relate this to a job. So a blockchain technology lead. And I'll go back to the site because there's more like Fabric, Indie, Sawtooth, and so forth. And I'll bring those up, but you just saw the one for Indie. All right, so on the site, and I hope this is big enough. Let me make it a little smaller. Yeah, that was big. All right, so a blockchain technology lead will be responsible for designing and developing a proprietary Bitcoin installment payment product, which enables hotelcity.com. So what's the immediate thing that you would do if you saw that, right? You would probably, and let me get some juice, you would probably go over to hotelcity.com, correct? Because you want to know, well, what does hotelcity.com do? What are they, what does that look like? What kind of jobs do they have? And we'll do that afterwards. Right. And so here's what you need to have. You need to have 5 years of software development, architecture experience, 5 years of Java J2EE, 2 years of hands-on blockchain experience, blockchain fundamentals, smart contracts, consistent algorithms, hands-on experience with Hyperledger, Ethereum, R3, Corda, proven understanding of architecture, best practices, knowledge and experience of software development lifecycle. That's what SDLC stands for. Experience with lean and agile development technologies, and the list goes on. I'm not going to read this whole list because this is a long list, but this is what that list was, right? Dee could post this job if you're interested, or whatnot. But another thing that actually came up out of this, as I was doing research, was understanding robotic automated process automation. And so I don't know if you all remember the company that we reviewed a while back called UiPath, where we were talking about robotic automated processes. And so RPA is the short name for it. So I was doing some research with about RPA, and let me bring this up right now. All right, so I was doing a little research about robotic process automation. Ties into blockchain. All right, ties back into Hyperledger, ties back into smart contracts, and also under that was Indy. So Hyperledger, go check it out. Go check out the events. Go check out the classes, and I'll circle back around here in a minute. But what is robotic process automation? All right, so let's blow that up so you can see that. So robotic process automation is a software technology that makes it easy to build, deploy, and manage software robots that emulate human actions interacting with digital systems and software. All right. Just like people, software robots can do things like understand what's on the screen, complete the keystroke, navigate systems, identify and extract data, and perform a wide range of defined actions. So I brought this up because there's a job that requires this under blockchain. However, you can also take free classes to learn about RPA. So under UiPath, they have free classes. So here's stuff from MIT on AI and automation for those that are following, that are executives and want to know a little bit more about it. Here's a class from MIT that I found, right? $2,600, 4 to 6 weeks. And it goes through and tell you a little bit about it and what they're due and so forth and so on. So you can drop this in there. All right. But to learn about, let me go back to here because I think I cut and paste the same link. Hold on. So let's go back up here. RPA, they have a free resource for learning. Let's go here. UiPath, free training. I found it. Which one? Here we go. Free RPA classes right here. Learning skills of the future with free RPA training. Now, I looked this up too, and it's a $500 billion industry right now. Right now. So what does that tell you? Coming down the path will be probably potential for more money, more jobs, which also wraps back into security as well too, which also wraps into DevSecOps and crosses many industries. But I'm only giving you this so you can understand like where I'm coming from and how to piece these things together. All right. So in here they have they got a, like, if you just want to get started, they got a foundation course. If you want to develop specific skills, they break that down, and then start your free training. So let's click on start your free training. Let's see what that looks like. All right, so here are the courses and how they break those courses down. So UiPath Automation Cloud, UI Automation Hub for Citizen Developers, updates, PowerPoint Automation with Studio X, the apps, the assistant, Robotic Enterprise Framework, and so forth. So then you say, Tamika, okay, blockchain, all tying all this together, that's nice, that's great, but what does that mean for me and a job? Well, should you ask? Let's go look. So let's hit up indeed.com, and then let's just type in RPA. It's just that. Oops, not double R. And if not, we'll probably type in robotic process automation. Let's see. All right, so when we come in here, we get global chief officer. Let's type in, did I look it up earlier? Yep, right there. All right, intelligent automation analyst, manufacturer automation, like supervisor mortgage. And you can continue down this path on different websites when you want to look up RPA. But I found, then this is in Shreveport. Let me get rid of that. We did Shreveport before, but let's go back and redo it. So 7,342 jobs was found. Robotic process automation developer, 5 cubes inside of Dallas, Florida, DC, Tampa, hardware support engineer, packaging automation, an analyst, another developer. So you can see the jobs are already out there. I showed you where you can go get free training. There's also $500 billion industry right now. But another little thing to add into this that kind of brings it back to security as well too. Here's where I said the large organization will achieve almost 500 billion savings of $500 billion. I'll pull up where I pulled the $500 billion industry. And also, let's pull this out. There is an actual governance around RPA. And here is the model. So, looking up RPA from a security standpoint and the governance around it, as you can see right here. So understanding this, let's see, the government establishes policies, procedures, and standards for BOT qualification, development, and deployment to meet audit, regulatory, information security, and compliance standards. So when I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about, well, how do I use this in the cloud when there's a shared security, a shared responsibility model? And then there's also security wrapped around that. And then how do you automate this and test your arms or test this robot in the process and so forth and so on. So that's just where my head was rolling with this. And here's the RPA operating model. And as well as we broke this up, what are the options for organizing an RPA COE? And their COE was back up here where they was talking about Center of Excellence, what they're saying COE is. All right, and so getting into that. So I hope all this kind of tied in together. We got the blockchain where we're talking about robotic and processes, and you can look up blockchain and RPA, right? And then how they all tie in together here for blockchain and RPA, a guide to RPA, blockchain and RPA. Here's some different well, that's just a highlight of a blockchain and RPA. But again, then we start getting into AI. Here we go right here, how RPA and blockchain can work together. 101 blockchains. So that's where I pulled all this from. Just tying the pieces together here. And there's a job out there that wants you to know both Hyperledger, Indy, and blockchain and smart contracts. So they break this down here, then they break it down into the fundamentals of blockchain and RPA. What is RPA? What is blockchain? Bots, orchestrator IDE, benefits of RPA. Then they got RPA and blockchain together. And then they go into a little bit more detail. I'll give this link to D in case anybody is interested and wanted to know more. And you can go and do your own deep dive and your own research yourself and go from there. I hope that content makes sense for you. How I pulled all that together. All right. All right. So next up, what I wanted to do, someone asked me this actual question, and I'm gonna take this time on the live to answer this question. All right. The question was, what what are the skills gap that separate Linux admins from DevSecOps and SREs? So the first question is, to me, and how I'm gonna read this is, first off, what is a Linux system admin and what does a Linux system admin do? So let's go. I like to give my own opinion of this, and then I'm going to give you jobs, of course, that are surrounding about this, and you can. I don't know of any industry that doesn't use Linux. For us, is we're looking at tech stocks and jobs, staying on beat with that. So let's go back to Indeed. We can go to Dice too. I may pull up something on Dice. All right, so let's look up Linux system administrator. FYI, back in the day, you could never ever just look up Linux system administrator. It was like a word that wasn't defined on Dice or Indeed. It was like a phrase you couldn't look it up. It's crazy. But anyway, that's just a FYI. But now it's prevalent. All right, so let's look at what they have for a Linux sysadmin, and we'll look at the one at McDill. It's probably a little bit more standard, probably. All right, so perform day-to-day operations. So understanding how to read log files, everything we've been doing with the Ark CSA is typically your Linux sysadmin work, right? How to read log files. Oops, let me back out of that. How to read log files. How to diagnose a problem. Networking, of course. Understanding how to write a bash script. You might as well go ahead and throw Python into that. Automation is key. So your Ansible, your Puppet, your Chef. And then now, because a lot of people are moving from just like on-prem work to the cloud, you'll have understanding how to uh, build out your infrastructure, or how to keep things up. I don't want to say keep things up inside of the cloud. I just want to say how to build in the cloud, right? So it can be confusing between Linux and DevSecOps, but Linux is your foundation for DevSecOps and SRE. Now, when you start getting into DevSecOps, now we're like, how do I automate the actual, I don't want to say install, the build of the infrastructure, the configuration of the infrastructure? How do I secure that? How do I deploy a container and I know what's in the container? Is that container secure? Where the container lands, is it secure? Is the application secure? Are we scanning our own code? What does that look like? Like those are things that fall into DevSecOps. Whereas you hit SRE is, okay, the application is up, but there's the actual API for, or the service was written poorly. That's why we have the Go training at 2:00. Don't forget Go training at 2:00 with Vladimir. But that is the reason why we're doing that, because that gets into observability. So there's a couple of things you can wrap around with SRE. So observability. So if you hit SRE Google right here, they walk you through um, differences of SRE. However, I want to bring this up too. I want to make sure that you know about the SRECon that's actually coming up in October of this year. I've sat on the steering committee for SRECon, also for USNITS as well too. I'm still a part of that. But when you talk about, and all their content, by the way, are on here too. So when you break this down here, when you want to know like how you make this natural progression, this natural progression comes from really understanding, and I bring this up again. I brought this up in our classes before. Really understanding how the operating system works, how application works, what is, what is a heap, what is a stack. We get into that, but then let me bring this up too. I brought this up. I brought this guy up before, Brandon Gregg. I'm gonna always go back to this website. It looks messy to you, but there's a lot of content here. He's actually sits. I think he's still at Netflix, but he's written a lot of books, right? And one of the big things right here that I want to point out that's super important that you as a Linux admin should have, you as a DevSecOps person should have, you as a person who is studying to be an SRE, you should understand system performance, right? So there's a book he has right here for understanding system performance. But I also want you to see this book that was written in 2019 right here, where he talks about, let me go back to it. The name of that was BPF Performance Tools, Linux Systems and Application Observability. So really getting into more of your SRE. But I would consider this website here and a few others, and I don't have them readily handy to give to you. They're in Slack. However, I consider this like the crux of like, hey, if I ever had to study for a interview, I would come here and look at this, and then I would also come here and I will look at SRE, because if you go to their website and you look under multimedia right here, it's not on YouTube. You have to go here. They also have, I should bring the people from USNITS on. I'm working on that. Having people from USNITS come on. It's a whole, this is, yeah. So come here and you can go through the different conferences that they have. So you're probably gonna have to do some searching for, and like the conference right here, right? So you can go back to 2020 because they haven't had the one for 2021 yet, right? So go back to 2020 and look at it, right? But as you look through these, look and see who sits on the steering committee, and look see who sits on the boards, and then go reference them in LinkedIn and Twitter and follow them. The reason why I say that is because now you get a chance to see like what they're talking about, where they're speaking at in conferences, if they're publishing any books. This is how you get a chance to like build your network. All right. All right. So the other thing I want to talk about here is grants and scholarships. All right. So I actually help write this actual USNITS on racism and Black and African American community in the African diaspora. I was a part of that. I still am. So I wanted to share this with you so you can be a part of this as well too, so you can get scholarships and grants. Huge initiative to push this and get more grants for Black computer scientists, especially at HBCUs. Anybody that's that follow us and is on a live or what have you, and it's part of an HBCU, we want you to get some, training classes, support, and so forth. So don't be afraid to fill out scholarships. Go to SRECon. Also, check out not just the scholarship, but check out the conferences. And it's the other thing too. When you're looking at this, find out who are sponsoring the conferences, and then 9 times out of 10 they have a person that actually, they'll be there at the conference. So now when you see what companies are sponsoring them, those companies 9 times out of 10 have jobs, and so they'll be at the conferences posting jobs. I can get on this, but that's not what Tech Stocks and Jobs is about. I just wanted you to have this information. so that you can go for yourself and distinctly say the difference between a Linux and DevSecOps. DevSecOps, GitLab, Jenkins, Terraform, automation, deployment pipelines. Um, and this is why I say Linux sysadmins. If you're on-prem, you're probably using something like satellite server, Ansible Tower, Jenkins, Git, Bitbucket, Jira, Confluence, Elation products. Same thing with your DevSecOps. You'll probably fall into that. But however, with DevSecOps, if you're just deploying on-prem, that'll be something that you do with DevSecOps with OpenShift. But if you're deploying to the cloud, now you start getting into those same tools, but now you're also adding that extra layer of having security in the cloud. And what does that look like? But what if you're in a hybrid cloud or a multi-cloud, where you're deploying to all three environments and you need to have governance on that? So the Linux sysadmin is really developing into DevSecOps, if you really want to hear the truth. In some cases, in other cases, you have people who are just like, I need you to be the super duper Linux admin. We don't care nothing about the GitLab stuff. What we care about is, do you understand networking? Do you understand security? Do you understand SE Linux? I had a job that just contacted me and it's like, we only want you to do SE Linux. That's all you're going to do. Now you have to ask yourself, the question is, do you really want to do that as a job? Then you have other companies that reach out to you to say, we want you to understand Linux, but we want you to understand storage on-prem. So now you're dealing with NetApp and then all these other things. And then you have SANS, and you get into that. And then you have DevSecOps on-prem, but then DevSecOps to the cloud and on-prem. And then you got SRE. And SRE is like, okay, well, do you understand how to write an API, how to secure, get into Chaos Monkey, Splunk with observability, Jagger, Zipkin, getting into those different topics and techniques of trying to understand why is this service responding slowly. Is this service is this database responding so slowly? Why? Understanding algorithms, data structures, getting into maybe Go, maybe even Go and Python will probably be your primary two, maybe even Rust. Starting getting into that. But I take and say understand Python, Rust, and Go, and I say use that across all three. Just pick you one that you're really, really good at, right? That's my thought. Hold on, let me read these questions. Hey, Annex Group, how you doing? Man, you know what? I do retain a lot of information, but I read a lot of information, and I'm just involved in a lot of stuff, and so it's really easy for me to retain that. Sasha, you are welcome for that information. I hope this helps somebody. We got 20 of y'all listen. Get the lights up. Please subscribe. Please share this information. But I could go on. I got actually a few more things I want to say on this topic. I know this is a little different tech stocks and jobs, but I just wanted to point this out. This is another section, another YouTube channel I follow. This YouTube channel, I like the content from the technical perspective, where they break it down. Casey Rosenthal right here broke out. He started his own company with another guy. I forget the guy name, and I met them all. I met them both in person. I actually interviewed with them. They're still looking for Kubernetes SRE people. So super check that out. But come here to this particular channel and really look at the topics, right? And understand, this is like here, observability for data pipelines, right? Martin Fowler, another big person in the community that pushes the community. So check him out. Um, is Agile dead? Understanding that. I mean, the list goes on the content that they have that I like to follow. So here we have serverless, and let's go check out their playlist over here. So we got I saw serverless. Let's see, amazing women speakers, blah blah blah. Oh, they don't have it listed by topics. That's a bummer. All right, so let me go back down here where we was looking at right here. So serverless architecture, human factor, microservices, DevOps, Java, programming languages, and developer productivity, right? And remember, everybody, I always tell you, you are the solution when you walk in. You are the solution. If you want to look at more stuff on blockchain, quantum computing, I mean, the list goes on here. So just give it a shot and check it out. And then always look at who they follow. So I follow this one here, continuous delivery as well too. They actually get into understanding, like, don't branch or stop doing stuff wrong, object oriented programming versus functions and so forth. So another good place for content, as well. All right. So let me bring this one up too. So this right here, this young lady right here, well, no, it's not a young lady. I got another one that's a young lady. Sysadmin to SRE. So how do you take yourself from a sysadmin to SRE? All right. So that's one. And last but not least, and I'm gonna get into this, tie this back into a stock, of course. Check out this young lady. I found her this morning. And she talks about what is a site reliability engineer, and she gives a breakdown, and it looks like, I think this is it says 11 minutes and 25. Let me make sure. Yeah, 11 minutes and 25 seconds. So she does that in 11 minutes and 25 seconds. But I hope this answers your question and also gives you tools in order to get to these things. But again, tech is very vast. So what someone defines as an SRE in one company is not the same in another company. I will tell you that now. What someone defines as a DevSecOps person is not the same as it is in another company. What somebody defines as a Linux administrator in one company can look like an SRE in another company. I'm just giving you honesty and facts. So when you look at these titles on these links or these job descriptions, they can be off sometimes, and you have to know how to define that so you can ask for your money. All right. All right. So just letting you know. All right. So let me see. All right. So let's get into some other stuff that I want to take note of. Let me see. All right. So I don't know if I can bring this up here. It probably asks me to log in. Let's see. Oh no, let me see. Let me see. Do y'all see this? Do y'all see this screen? Can y'all see this? I don't know if you can or not. I dropped in another screen. It's seeking alpha. Do y'all see that? Okay, you do. All right. So I wanted to bring this up because this came across my wire this morning. Buy Apple before the upcoming breakout. But basically, what they were talking about, and we'll go into Apple too, tech stocks and jobs is what we do. And we'll get into this. They were talking about, one, how Apple has been trading sideways since last September and is due for a breakout. So I'm just passing information along to you. All right. And they get into a little bit more about, how you could tell that it's trading sideways, the support and the resistance of it. But also, D can post this link if you don't understand what the hell I'm talking about when something is trading sideways. I posted that link, and here is from Investopedia on how you can tell when something is trading sideways or sideways drift. And they talk about the supply and demand and so forth, and they go give indicators, and then they also talk about how this is trading sideways. And if you go back and look at this link here, well, this picture, let me go bring it up. Up here, you can see like how it's trading sideways on a trend upward. But I actually have in one of my accounts on Charles Schwab, the only thing I have in there is Apple. That's it. And so I've been following, marking and watching the trend with Apple for a couple of days. It'll go up, to 126, 129, and it'll drop back down to go up and down. So it's just been up and down in a particular target. So I know for this that it's trading sideways. So just be on the lookout for this. So you don't have to buy it if you don't want to. But mark it on your calendars for, mark it on your list to watch, if you want to get in now or whatnot. So just want to put that on your mind. So now, since this is tech stocks and jobs, what do? We're going to go to Apple and look up jobs. After we have just discussed, SRE, DevSecOps, RPA, blockchain. Do you think Apple needs anybody that has any of those skills? What do you think? Probably so. All right, so let's go look at Apple jobs and careers. All right, and then got 600 results. Let's do a keyword. Let's just do blockchain. Oh, no results. Let's try security. And blockchain, they may have a particular thing that they're looking for on the blockchain, but we'll see. All right, and I refuse to believe that Apple's not in the blockchain. So, security design program, security manager, TV and production. Let me see if I can do something. Can I do remote? Nope. Teams, language. Nope, I can't do that. So, telephone content security technology lead, product security engineer, security engineering, architecture, Apple site security. I mean, here we go. They specify in it remote senior threat intelligence reverse engineer OS security. So, I mean, the list goes on with that. Remember, I says 500 million jobs out there for security. They're looking for security. Let's go back and take out that keyword of security, and then let's type Linux. Right, 197. So embedded automation, senior Linux DevOps inside of Austin. I'm gonna pull that up on another tab. Infrastructure software engineer. I'll put that up on the tab. We'll do embedded one or visualization software engineer. Let's do embedded. All right, let's go check out these three. All right, so we're looking for someone that can build, automate critical large-scale environments, Linux experience, especially with Oracle, Linux, CentOS, in addition to understanding Linux system administration, Puppet, Ansible, familiarity with kernel debugging, and a plus, Python, Go, Java, GitHub, CI/CD, OS security, encryption. Uh, like I say, that's what they consider DevSecOps. Under the infrastructure software engineer, storage knowledge, so probably understanding databases and how to scale. Ruby, Go, Python would be a plus. Like I said, Go and Python are probably like your middle thing to stay in there. Highly motivated. Let's see, working with storage DBA app systems engineer, Ruby to Puppet modules, shell scripts, Python, converting existing Ansible, writing new or converting existing Ansible shell scripts, Puppet, Ruby to Puppet modules. So they're going from Ansible to Puppet. Understanding Git, because they got a Git repo. That is the infrastructure software engineer, right? Like when you think software engineer, you're probably thinking about algorithms and so forth, but being able to generate software automation structure and web services. So there you go. Here we embedded firmware engineer, C and Python, focused on design and high quality, highly organized, motivated, and passionate, experienced in developing test strategies, architecting test frameworks, and so forth. And so that's what they have. I want to do one more thing. I'm gonna type in SRE and see what we get here. See how Apple defines SRE. Let me take off that. All right, so site reliability engineer. They got one in San Diego. Let's go here, and then let's do manager. All right. So site reliability engineer, adopt SRE best practices. SRE Google should be your thing to look at. Keep users, key stakeholders, leadership informed, automation and manual tasks tool, develop playbooks, foster strong relationship, on-call rotation, customer experience, disaster recovery, testing and failovers, participation in incident postmortems. So blameless. You should look this up. Blameless. There's a blameless.com. Someone started. I think he is out of SRE. His name is David something. I forget. But blameless post-mortems. All right, you should look into this. Check out this from Google. It's on that SRE Google site that I was talking about. Understanding that's key there. Continuous experience, disaster recovery, participation in incident postmortems, implementing preventive findings, chaos engineering, predictive analysis, or implement AI to do issue avoidance. ELK, grow for site reliability engineer, TCP, HTTP, DNS, SSL protocols, programming, scripting, Python, Perl, Java, Zabbix, Sensu, monitoring experience, DevOps, microservices, cloud platforms such as Kubernetes, skills, ability to work across and understand traffic flows at a deep level to find anomalies to optimize performance. Remember system performance, that site I showed you, Brandon Gregg, check it out. Demonstrate the ability to deliver results on time and high quality. So that's that one. And then as a manager. All right, so I didn't read all of this, but you can read that. But let's go get down to the qualifications. Strong emphasis on SRE, superb interpersonal, capable of working with multifunctional technical and business teams, proven project management skills, capable of writing detailed solution specifications, diagrams, best practices, experience supporting infrastructure, Linux and public clouds, AWS, GCP, experience building and supporting, proficient with programming languages, Python, Java, Ruby, Perl, Go, and understanding network routing protocols, run the edge internet facing services such as BGP. All right. So that's Apple. We went over SRE. We did DevSecOps and Linux admin stuff. Really kind of rose into DevSecOps. And then also don't forget to check out this website. And then go from there. There are plenty of books. If you just type in SRE, let me show you the books real quick. Not SR, but SRE. And then if we go to books, you'll see Site Reliability Engineering, Site Reliability Workbook, SRE Conversations about running systems in production, building secure and reliable systems, real world SRE, database reliability engineering, site reliability engineering, implementing service level objects, SLOs, the site reliability handbook. I can go on and on and on, but you get the drift here on how to find resources I just showed you. If you don't know, now you know. Boom, boom. And I think I got one more thing before we get up out of here. And then let me check the comments as well too. All right. So let me pull this up. Don't forget May 29th. We'll have Sands on. Have Dennis from Sands on. All right. Last but not least, ARK funds. I'm bringing this up because I don't know if you are aware of how to keep up with what's going on with ARK, but they send out trade notifications every day. You can register for their webinars and you can download their fund and materials. Just giving you information here. That's all I'm doing. Just saying, hey, if you want to see what they're investing in, and then go follow what they invest in and what they sell, and just follow them and see what kind of trends they're following on that. Get you ahead of the game. All right. And them check comments. Yep. If they plan on adding crypto, yep. Congratulations on your first put on Apple. Oh, you said, you misspoke. Yes, a call. Okay. You all right? You all right for being brand new? You trying? That's good. When you're studying and learning a new topic, do you study them simultaneously or one at a time? Also, can you please explain the team purple agenda? All right. So, do I study topics simultaneously? Yes and no. I look at topics, right? And I look for common things between those topics. And when I look for those common things between those topics, I'm looking for something I could follow, right? And say, okay, well, this applies to this and this. So I'm going to learn this. That's why I always emphasize to you all, go pick out 10 jobs and find a commonality between those 10 jobs. And those are your core skills you're gonna need to have. So I'm looking for what is the core between those two, right? And then I also tell you to learn how you learn. So you may receive one topic this way, and that really works for you, but you really need to receive it this way over here when you go to something else, because the way to understand that topic for you doesn't work when you were doing it this way. So auditory, maybe one, another one may be visual. So you may learn a topic visually, and you may learn another topic auditorily because it had to click to you, and then you may switch over to visual. So for me, that's how I learn. And in terms of purple team, I think you're looking for insecurity. I think you're looking for what is a purple team versus a red team. I think that's what you're looking for. And let me know if that's true or not. But here's a little brief synopsis right here. Right, when you're talking about red is attacking, orange builds and attacker knowledge, yellow, I'm not sure what build means. I guess you're just building an attack. I guess you're building information. I guess green builder changes based on defender knowledge, and then blue to defend, and purple defender changes based on attacker knowledge. And so they have a little pyramid here. I hope this helped you out right here. And then they break down the different teams and what the different teams and what they do. But you can also probably hit up like sans.org and even CompTIA to get a little bit more in depth on what each team does. And when you do that, go back and search Monster, Indeed, even LinkedIn Jobs to find out postings that people have on red teams, purple teams, blue teams, and so forth. And when you do that, look up at least 5, minimum of 5, and see how the job descriptions vary from company to company, or how the job descriptions, what are the core skills that you would find that you would need, and then take that, make your roadmap of those core skills. Literally make your roadmap. Literally go make your mind map of those core skills, and then where to study those things at, so that way when you get back to when you're mapping this out, you know what you need to study, you know where the resources are at, right? So that's how you do that. All right. Yep, RACSA. Yep, you see me on Erica Williams. That is correct. Hold on, let me scroll back up and make sure I read everybody's comment here. Oh yeah, I'm glad you like those jobs. I'm sorry, I'm turning my head there because I got you over here. Let me see if I can pull you up over here. Augmented reality. I'm not. You know what? I'll put that in the list for augmented reality. I'll pull that up. I got a couple of groups that I'm a part of in terms of augmented reality, and they've been looking for people as well too. We did a podcast on augmented reality a couple of years ago with is her name Tamika Joe? I can't remember her name. Last name was Joe though, but it's on our YouTube channel. You can check it out. Dee can pull that up. You about to get into a quarter course? Okay. Send it over. We can review it. Thank you for stopping by as well too. It's Miss versus World. Like I hope that's it right. Yep. We're doing RACSA. Yep, every Wednesday and every Thursday to be exact. 7 to 9. We've been doing that. If you join us on meetup.com, and we meet every Wednesday and Thursday from 7 to 9, we're pushing for we broke it into sections. Actually, Red Hat broken into sections 124 and 134, and we've been pushing to get all the content as we can for 124, and then all the content we can for 134. Congratulations to Rico. He took the exam. He's passed the exam. Hopefully we'll have at least 15 to 20 of us more coming. You can find us on meetup.com /women in Linux. That's where we're at. Data engineering and adjacent skills. You don't want me to start on that. We'll be on this live for another hour and a half. Okay, so data engineering. All right, so I'm gonna give you this one real quick. All right, so when we're talking about data engineering, you have to ask yourself from what perspective, right? So I'm gonna give you my take, and I'm gonna give you where you can go. All right. So I'll give you my take first. My take on data engineering. Say somebody like a VMware or a Netflix, right? They're looking. Let's look internal to talk about how does VMware or Netflix handle data engineering internal to their company. We're not even talking about supporting customers like outside, like us. We're talking about how does a Netflix or how does a VMware or even an AWS support internal to just them, right? So they have a lot of data that they need to build out for. Like, I'm part of the SRE team that handles XYZ customer, right? But I want to build a cluster inside, right? So somebody has to support me as the engineer as a customer. So there's that, right? So that's why I say you have to. I'm kind of trying to scope this for you and give you just something to think about. The other piece to think about is okay, what does that look like? So are we talking about data storage from a NetApp, HP, um, even Cisco, whatever. We're talking about storage from that perspective, right? And how to handle these different workloads that these companies would have, and so forth, right? So there's that. The other piece to look at is like, where in the hell do I go get all this information from? So I'm gonna give you my thought process on where I see companies going. And the other one is AI centered around this data engineering. So the companies that I've been following and keeping up with is a list. So you gotta bear with me here. So one is Databricks, right? And I'm going to come back full circle with some things that I've done before. So they have a learn section where you can go get, excuse me, training and certification, right? So I'm gonna put this out here, and I've done this before, right? We have satellites and AI, right? So there's satellites and AI when we're talking about this. And so now we're starting to get into, we have all these satellites going out into space. And so now we got to figure out, like, okay, how much data are they ingesting? What are they going to do with that data? How do you analyze that data in the cloud or on that machine? So, oh God, I can't remember this company. I talked about them for weeks. Oh God, they just deployed some satellites, but um, I can't. Black Sky. Shh. Who will come back up? All right, so Black Sky is a company, and we went over their stuff on tech stocks and jobs. So now you're doing geospatial intelligence, and I'm bringing this up because now you're starting to get into like how we what's out there that can be placed on a satellite to do AI and machine learning and uh, analysis in space, and how long does that data take to return back to us? Is that pull that data down? What's what does that look like? You can even see that with the pictures that were being taken on Mars and different locations around space, right? So when you're talking about data engineering, I look at Databricks, and I forget the other company that I was going to mention on data engineering. Oh, Snowflake. I don't know how I forgot that. Snowflake is another company to look at as well too. They also have some learning resources. You also have Snowflake inside of AWS, and you also have with AWS, you have AWS Outposts. So with AWS Outposts, you can go and say, okay, I want to have AWS, like, it's just like having AWS in a box but on-prem. And now I want to select the different services that I want to have within inside of AWS. All right. I mean, it was inside my AWS Outpost, and then I can select those services. And so now you can select something like Snowflake, right? So if you went to AWS Outposts, they just came out about maybe a year, 2 years ago, maybe a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago. But you can, they have their documentation here, but they also have like, how much they cost. So let me do AWS, not outposts. Pricing. Oh, here it is right here. So we get into their pricing and so forth, and what that model looks like, what you want, what kind of service you want to have, what kind of machines you want to have, and so forth. So that's where I would say that's one piece. The other piece was, I talked about this before. I got this book from um, Vladimir, designing uh, data driven applications. So data driven applications. It's a book. Let me see if it pops up, and I may have the wrong name. Let me look. I may have the wrong name. Let me go see. Not applications. Let's type in book. And I may have it wrong. It's here it is. Designing data intensive applications. Uh, this is recommended by Vladimir. I'm sure there's some updated books as well out there for that. But now, one of the things, and I talked about this before, monolithic to microservices. I put all these together. I actually put all this together right here. Database, design and data intensive application, SRE, Google, fundamental software architecture, and monolithic to microservices. And the reason why I put all of those together because now understanding how I break this monolithic application up into microservices. What kind of database do I need to drive this to? Do I want to have a managed database and so forth? Am I on-prem or am I in the cloud? Am I doing both? Should I have my database inside of AWS, and maybe I need to have my database inside of not VMware, but inside of actual Azure? Or what does that look like to be in a multi-cloud strategy to do these three things? Maybe a service lives here and a service lives over there, and we need to connect the two. How do we connect the two without any type of downtime? How do we make sure those two services that are connected to each other, that may be in two different clouds, have high availability behind them? So those are just different things, and I hope that answers your question. I hope I answered everybody's questions. I know we're running over our time here. I just want to make sure I got everybody's question answered and so forth. All right. Yep. Oh, Monica Joe. All right. Yep. Monica Joe. That was her name. Let me see. And here is, I think this is the YouTube right here from Monica Joe. Yeah. Oh, this is VR1. AR is VR. But anyway, we actually talked about some AR in there too. We talked about VR, AR right here. And you see, we did it back in 2016. So you go check it out. Make sure you like it too, please. All right. Make sure I got everybody comments and whatnot. Let me know if this worked out for you all. I tried to do a little mix of tech, stocks, and jobs, searching jobs, things that I've seen coming up with RPA, UiPath, what that industry looks like, jobs and so forth. RPA. I just want to do that. RPA industry. I just want to make sure that we got growth and trends. All right, so here's what Gartner had to say. Let me see. They have the, oh, you want me to download the report? I figured they would. I just wanted to see what they was like, what the market size would be. All right. So they're predicting that the global robotic process automation market size is expected to be 56 billion by 2025. All right. So not 500. 500 was the savings. All right. So, but they're also predicting, let me see. We'll go back because we got different predictions here. We'll go back up here. See what kind of size. Okay, so right now they're saying that was in 2020 that RPA size is estimated to be 1.57 billion in 2020 and it's expected to be 1.89 billion in 2021. So it's newly developing market strategy here. So again, everybody's got different sizes. See, like here they're saying 13.74 by 2028. So potato, I guess, but billions and billions. Here they're saying it's predicted to hit 6 billion in 2021. So it's like I say, it's fairly new. Nobody really knows, but yet unless there's free skill sets out there to obtain on it and how to use it. Here's even Capgemini talking about RPA, and then of course here are the companies that actually pull up for that, right? So just something to be aware of, another way to get into tech. when we're talking about how people can get into tech, what can they do, and here you go, right? Well, I hope I answered everybody's questions. That's all I have for this week. I hope you got what you got. I hope you found this information useful. There will be I have so much more content to share. Just things I find, research, pulling things together, how you can move, bringing people on our meetups, and so forth. I hope you all enjoyed this. Share this content with someone else. If you know someone that's looking for a job, if you know somebody that's looking for to get into tech, make sure you point them to Women in Linux, and then just don't leave them hanging. Point them to Women in Linux, and make sure you put them in, drop them into our Slack group. Yep. Don't forget to thank Dee. She's back there working the controls. You know, and we also have one-on-one sessions as well too. You can find me on Calendly at Women in Linux or /Women in Linux, and sign up. Get your one-on-one for tech jobs, resume review, whatever. And the last thing I want to leave you all with is this: there are gatekeepers in tech, period, in any industry. You just need to make sure you know, and I'm going to cuss, and hopefully YouTube don't flag us. Well, I spell it. Make sure you know your SHIT, right? And lead with confidence. Stop letting people beat you down on the BS. They don't know, right? They don't know, right? And when people tell you, uh, you know, don't do tech and don't do this, you do tech every day if you got a cell phone. You do tech every day if you're on TikTok. You're involved with tech. There's nothing that tech doesn't even it is not involved in. Okay, so lead with confidence. But the way you have confidence is you gotta do like AI said. You gotta practice. You gotta practice. So lead with confidence is really what I'm saying. Um, you know, at the end of the day, it, it it's just what it is. It is what it is. These tech jobs ain't going nowhere. We got 500 million security jobs open right now. And trust me, that involves DevSecOps, that involves SRE, that involves logging, data monitoring, red team, blue team, purple team, green team, whatever. Involves everything, right? You just have to pick your lane and run with it, right? So that's what I want to leave you with. It's all about practice, all about confidence, and it's also about sharing knowledge. You don't know what you don't know until you start teaching it. When you start teaching it, that's when you see your gaps of knowledge, because you got to explain it to somebody else. So why not explain it to somebody else and practice? Pick somebody, explain it to them. Come to the meetup and do a meetup. You'll know when you don't know something, right? When you're sitting in the meetup and somebody asks you a question, and you'll be like, what? You'll be like, WTF? Let me go look that up. I don't know. That's what it is. All right, we out. Lead with confidence. Practice. Talking about practice. And know your SHIT. All right. See you.